Hello again. It's been a while and it's good to be back again, and welcome to my demo of upside down drawing, which is the first activity of this new term in 2021, or autumn 21. So hopefully you have all selected a photograph to work from. Yep. It might take a little bit of choosing because you're going to be working with this for quite a few weeks, so I hope it will be one you will learn lots about and find interesting. I've picked one from my holiday this summer in Wales in the Brecon Beacons. It's, as you can see, hopefully, a tree, a very interestingly shaped tree leaning out over a river. Which got me thinking about all sorts of things, so I thought that would be a good subject to work from. It's quite complex, so yeah, it should give me plenty to get my teeth stuck into. So for upside down drawing, which is, by the way, one of the exercises from the very good Betty Edwards Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain book, which if you haven't come across this, I really recommend it as a great sort of philosophy and sort of, well, practical and theoretical ideas on how to improve your drawing, and drawing upside down is one of those. So you will need paper, pen or pencil, whatever you want to draw with. Make your pencil sharp. Now I've also included a ruler on the list of things you need, just because I think it's quite useful for the sake of this exercise to work at the same scale when you're copying your photograph. To be able to work from the same scale just assists with referencing and measuring. So I've measured up my photograph, and I've drawn on my bit of paper the outline shape here to work in. Now obviously you can work from a printed out photograph. That's really good, but if you can't print anything out and you have a photograph on a tablet of some kind, that works equally well as well. So you might have to work out how to lock the screen so it doesn't perpetually rotate, because you're going to need to turn it upside down. So you can work on it, you can copy your image upside down. Another quite useful little tip before you begin is to create a simple grid. I just use 2 lines to split the image in quarters, so halfway down the middle and halfway down the horizontal middle. And we'll be talking more about those sections as well. And you can just do the equivalent as well on your bit of paper. Just draw that in with pencil lines. That's my midway point. There we go. And just draw them into Of course, typically when I decide to record a video, someone outside starts to do something very noisy, like drilling, I think, at the moment. So apologies if you can hear that going on outside. So there we go. I'd slipped my photograph into one of these plastic card sleeves, so I wasn't actually drawing on my photograph. But if you don't mind, you can draw on your photograph, or you can find something equivalent to that to draw on. And of course the wonderful Sharpies are brilliant for drawing on any surface. So in terms of a grid, just as well to let you know, if you've got an app, I use a little, if you've got a tablet rather, I use a little application called Grid, which looks like this little green one here, Grid, and in there you can upload photos from your collection on your tablet, and then you can set the grid at whatever you want to work on. So again, that just helps you measure as you're drawing. So there we go. Let's put that one there. I'm actually going to work from the photograph rather than the tablet. And I feel like I want it on the right, because being right-handed, otherwise I'd be blocking my view a bit. So got my photograph ready to work from there. And already, because I put that grid in, I'm starting to look at it in terms of 4/4, which is quite useful, because otherwise there's a lot of information to take on board there. So photo's upside down. The paper, well, it's not upside down, but I don't need it to be yet. Once I start drawing upside down, I can start to it will become upside down as I draw. Right, okay, I'm going to start drawing and take as long as I need. So do likewise, take as long as you need. Don't be you might be tempted to turn your photograph upside down, but it is really important to keep working on it upside down. So start anywhere. It doesn't matter if you start in the middle or the bottom or the top, and start by just mapping out key edges and spaces. Start lightly, and you can always make those lines stronger and more definite later on when you've spent time looking at the image, at the photo, and seeing it more clearly. So you can see I'm using a rubber as well as I go along, definitely needing to adjust what I've set down initially. As you go, try not to interpret what you're seeing in terms of the nouns that it is. Try to keep your thoughts and your observations to sort of simple concepts of lines and edges, spaces and relationships between spaces, angles relative to the edges of the paper. Hopefully in this way you'll be encouraging that using your right side of the brain rather than your left side of the brain. So your left side of the brain is your sort of verbal, analytical, logical side, very bossy as well, very dominant, and your right side is the one really more useful when you're drawing. It's more spatially aware, it sees the whole, it can see an abstract, and yeah, just more spatially perceptive. So you really want to try and access this side of the brain, which is what this exercise is all about, really. And just see it as a puzzle to be solved, really. Part of putting the photo upside down is to sort of scramble your brain in terms of to help see it in terms of lines and forms and relationships, rather than what it is, to help to try and see it more objectively. That's what it's all about, really. You might well experience a level of sort of mental conflict as you're doing this, but that's usually just an indicator of your left mode being asked to step aside, and your right mode, right side of your brain, being allowed to take the lead for a change. So just deal with that mental conflict if you're feeling it, and just go with it. And when I say sort of switch off, obviously your brain is working very hard, but yeah, don't overthink it. So I think I've gone as far as I'm going to go with this drawing, and it's time to turn it upside down and have a look. And I can also then turn my photograph upside down and have a look at those too. It's always interesting to see you immediately notice things when you turn it upside down that you've either exaggerated or you've missed, because when you see it the right way up, you're interpreting it, you're analysing it as what it is, so a tree and a river, much more so than when it was upside down. So that's that's definitely interesting. I've exaggerated and focused on particular features, and probably ignored others, but yeah, there we go. So what I'm going to do now is draw it the right way up to compare it, and in order to do that, I'm going to also work in sections and work from the same photograph. I think this time I'll work in pen rather than pencil, just to be different, and I'm going to do it side by side with my upside down one. So I'm going to again put that side and just draw in my grid lines again. Just get them in the right place. There we go. I'm probably going to start in pencil, actually, having said I'm going to work in pen and then go into pen after that. So let's just start sketching that out. It feels very different already, looking at it the right way up. I'm trying to ignore that. In fact, I think what I'll do is put a bit of paper on that, so I don't smudge it and I don't look at it. Okay, so this is a new drawing, trying to look with fresh eyes, just mapping in the sections. Already I can feel I'm working faster. That's partly because I've already spent time looking at it, so some of the information about what's there is already in my head, and partly just because I'm sort of interpreting it, because I'm used to working and interpreting, and so my left side of the brain, my bossy side, is going, oh yeah, I know what we're doing here, and making decisions far more quickly, probably as a result not seeing things so well as when I was really slowed down and drawing upside down, but we shall see. So I've spent about the same amount of time, about half an hour, on my right way up copy of the photograph, and obviously it was easier to compare progress as I was going along, but let's have a look and compare it to my upside down drawing. Yeah, I can see differences straight away. They definitely look like proportionally things are slightly different emphasis on things. So I wonder how you got on.